Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Jessica Zambri, and I'm a teacher with Studio B. And I want to welcome you tonight to this practice. We're just going to explore being present, what it's like to be present. And before we begin, I just want to give a little bit of context about who I am, just so you know, like, who is this person? Um, I'm a musician and I work with sound, and I'm hoping to bring that in tonight. And also a meditation. I think of myself as a student, but also sharing the practice. So, in a way, guiding. And I'll give some suggestions tonight to just work with um, this being present practice. Yeah. So to begin, I thought we can just sort of acknowledge that setting aside the time in the day to be present with whatever is showing up is extremely generous. So right before we began this gathering, we were kind of talking about time and how time could feel, sort of tricky at times. Sometimes feeling like the weeks really drag on or they fly by, or maybe there's this sort of balanced feeling with time. But just setting aside the time to be here and to show up and to experiment with just this quality of presence really is generous. And I just wanted to acknowledge that because whether or not I almost remind myself whether or not I'm feeling particularly generous or not, just coming here and showing up and pausing, really kind thing to do. Um, yeah, and I've been thinking about beginning and ending my actions and interactions with generosity, and so we can explore that a little bit tonight, just as this practice really brings up this quality of generosity and presence. So, as we begin, I'm going to invite you to find a position that feels comfortable, a posture in the body that feels supportive. So, if you want to take a few moments here to explore, maybe that's sitting on a chair or a cushion, it might be helpful to lie down or stand. And if you're feeling like the body needs to move a little bit, if walking is accessible, feel free to do that as well. Again, not with like a destination in mind, but just, a few steps in the space. So just take time and see what posture might feel comfortable right now. And the body is processing in process. So we can really honor that by listening to what the body might need from moment to moment. And if throughout the practice you need to shift, adjust your posture, just please feel free to do that. And whatever I'm guiding here is just a suggestion. So really listen to the innate wisdom that's inside of you, what might be needed moment to moment. Okay. Yeah. So we'll begin by just settling into wherever you are just now. If the eyes want to be open, that's great. You may wish to find a point in front of you to rest the gaze, or you may prefer to have the eyes closed. And just taking a few moments here to settle into this very moment, acknowledging that the body is here, present, just knowing that the body is here. The body is breathing. And as you're feeling comfortable, you can explore what it feels like to breathe. Maybe just noticing an inhale or an exhale. Getting a sense of this breath coming into the body and leaving the body. You may even notice the motion of the breath in the rise in the chest, the rise in the belly, or maybe in and out of the nose. And if the breath is not so easy to follow just now, that's okay. There's no need to force this. You can come back to that knowing, that discerning quality. Just knowing the body's breathing is enough. Another option is just to imagine a nourishing breath coming into the body and this nourishing breath leaving the body into the environment around you. So the environment passing along this breath into the body, giving the body life, and then the innate generosity in this body giving back to the earth. Just sensing this connected nature of the body and the space around the body. This practice is a deep listening practice, listening with the whole body, the mind, the heart. What are the messages that are showing up just now? Maybe there's some discomfort or tension in the body. That's the body's way of saying, hey, I need some attention here. You might wish to adjust your posture. Or if the mind is racing, thinking, planning, just bringing a kind attention there for a moment, just noticing that, almost like giving the mind a hug, like, okay, this is happening. And then gently return back to this just sense that the body is present and breathing. And if you'd like, you can rest the attention here with the knowing, just the knowing is enough, or with that felt sense, maybe feeling the breath in a certain part of the body, or allowing the attention to rest with a place that feels balanced for you, maybe in the hands or the feet. If you'd like to right now, just take some moments to explore where would you like to rest your attention and set an anchor for the practice, a place that you can come back to when the mind naturally wanders, which it will do, and that's not a mistake. A place that will help recenter the attention. Maybe take the next couple of minutes, taking your time exploring what might feel supportive for you. And so maybe you found an anchor of your choice. And if not, that's okay. There's no need to rush this. I invite you now to just check in. How's the body? How's the mind? And so, this is just another place to activate that sense of generosity, this kindness of checking in, seeing how it is right now without needing to have an answer. Okay, so you can even have like a I don't know, and that's fine. It's the checking in that is enough. That inquiry, that kind, open heart that's inquiring, how is it? How is it right now? Deeply listening as a form of generosity. In this practice of cultivating generosity and presence, we're practicing opening up the potential for choice, really choosing what might be needed in any given moment. And that's going to be different for each of us in each moment. We take our time exploring this. Again, there's nothing to achieve here, no goals. We're just practicing being with what's here now, knowing that it's going to change. Showing up for yourself much in the same way that you would for a good friend or someone that you care about, with an open mind, an open heart, leaving the judgment aside. So, in this moment, can you meet the body and the mind just where it is? No need to change or fix. Remembering that throughout this practice, as we explore what it's like to be present and to offer this kind attention, we can take a break, maybe open the eyes if they've been closed and just check out the surroundings, see where you're at. Again, adjusting the posture if that's needed. Really listening, honoring what might be useful for you, supportive. And as you're feeling ready, I invite you to bring the attention back to that place, that anchor of attention that you've chosen. Maybe that's the body, the breath, or just the simple knowing that the body is here and present. If you'd like, I'll offer a phrase too to center in the knowing. You can use it if you would like to. Something like the body is here, the body is breathing. Using these phrases if you'd like, or something else to sort of come back into this discerning quality of mindfulness. Just knowing that the body is always in the present moment. So, as we practice this being present, we're just exploring what it's like in the now, observing with whatever senses are feeling um, present for us. So maybe hearing, if the eyes are open, seeing, or even closed, just visualizing or feeling. Sense of smell or taste might be arising. Just observing the environment and this internal and external connection of the body meeting the space around the body. And while we're exploring, anchoring the attention in places that feel supportive, I always like to also bring in the option of sound. So if there are sounds coming in and out of the environment around you, just if you'd like to now, just take a moment to open up and see what might be arising for you. Maybe sounds that are near or far. Just noticing the sound of this voice coming in and out. And the invitation here is, if accessible, feeling into sound. So again, deeply listening with the whole body. What's it feel like to take in sound? In a few moments, I'm going to play a piece that I've created using my voices um, in a recording. It's about a minute long. And if you'd like, we can use this as a place to anchor the attention in sound. So, this is just another option to rest the attention, rest the awareness. If you'd like, you can explore what it's like in the body while you're listening to the sounds. Again, meeting the body just where it is. If there's a sense of discomfort or tension, really listening and offering some kindness there. If there's balance, noticing this, just noticing what's here, again, without judgment. And so, if you're feeling ready, I'll play this piece. Just take a moment to settle into the body once more, beginning with the knowing that the body is here, present, and breathing. And allowing for this piece to arise, deeply listening.
Or sound.
So just allowing the sounds to settle. You may be noticing the mind remembering the sounds. There may be sounds in your environment just now that you're noticing. Establishing this quality of presence, being the mind and the body just where they are just now. And checking in like we did in the beginning of the practice. How is it right now? How is the mind? How is the body? Again, not needing to have an answer, but just this check in is enough. Tapping into the innate wisdom within you and proceeding with care. And so throughout the day, practicing mindfulness, practicing generosity is something that can be brought into the day without setting aside time to sit like we are just now. This can live in many different ways. So, if there's a few seconds in the day where you want to check in and connect to sound in the environment, you can experiment. What is it like? What does it feel like to hear, to listen with the whole body? And over time, this is a way where we can begin to meet the body, come home to the body in a really generous, kind way. Get in touch with what it's like to be in this body that is present all the time. And that's why sometimes I like to use those phrases like the body is always in the present moment, just because it is. And if I'm getting a little too wrapped up in my mind, ruminating on some thoughts, could just come into that knowing. Sometimes there's a subtle release in just the knowing for me. And so dropping in to see what's here, meeting the body and mind just now, and just noticing what's showing up. Maybe there's thinking, maybe there's a sensation in the body that's really showing up. You might be hearing, just noticing what's here for a second. And then, as you're feeling ready, allowing the attention to come back to the choice that you have chosen, the anchor, a place to rest the attention with the body, the breath, sound. And if you're noticing that the attention is getting wrapped up in thoughts. There might be some emotions present. Just taking a moment to pause and see if there's a sense door that you have access to that will help you come into the present moment. So that might be sound, just hearing is happening, or maybe feeling the body, the weight of the hands or the feet. See if there's a sense that can help to anchor the attention in the present moment. Knowing again that at any point, it's okay to just take a moment to pause, break from the practice, and just open the eyes, move the body if needed. Again, this is really just a practice of deeply listening. What's here right now? What might be needed? Just take the next couple of moments to be with that, offering yourself this kind attention. And now, if you'd like, we'll explore using sound. So I'll take another moment here to share a piece that was created with my voices. You'll hear that in about 10 or 15 seconds, and just allowing, if you'd like, the sounds to arise. And the invitation is to just feel into that to the degree that's accessible for you. So, again, we can begin with just knowing, okay, hearing is happening or listening is happening. And then, if it feels comfortable, you can begin to feel what it's like to listen. What does sound feel like in the body? Maybe there's a sense of warmth in the body or tingling, some other sensations. Really deeply listening and moving at a pace that feels comfortable for you. So, just resting in the posture that you're in just now, taking a few deliberate breaths in and out if that feels useful for you, and gently allowing the sound to arise. So, again, just allowing the sounds to settle. Just checking in if you'd like to. How is it just now? Offering a sense of kindness to the body and to the mind. So, in this practice of being present, being kind, we explore what it's like. And this is something that we can try throughout our days in ways that feel supportive for us. There's no need to force this practice. There's nothing to achieve in particular. It's just about showing up for yourself each moment with an open mind, an open heart. In this way, we're cultivating this kind, generous attention, much in the way that we inhale a nourishing breath. We give this kind attention to ourselves, and then on an exhale, it's like we give that back to the environment and to the folks that we come into contact with. I almost like to imagine that this gift of generosity incoming and outgoing. And we use the senses that are accessible to us to get in touch with what's here. This is a way to learn what's here right now. And tonight we explored sound in particular. And so if it feels good, you can try that out too. What is it like to hear the sounds in the environment um, at any point during the day? Just check in. What's here? And again, this setting aside time to show up with this discerning, open, curious presence is really generous and courageous. So I just want to acknowledge that here, that together we've created this space together. Not only are you exploring this for yourself, but collectively we are sharing this generosity in practice. So for the last moments of this meditation, I invite you to deeply listen. Perhaps that might be with some sound in the environment and feeling into that. Maybe you're listening to the mind, thinking, the body, and sensations, whatever ways you're listening, just opening up this awareness, the whole presence of this being here right now. And as we close, just bringing the attention, if you'd like to the whole body, knowing that this body is here, always present, and then gently beginning to expand the awareness, if you haven't already, with the space and the environment around the body. So maybe you've already been taking in some sounds, and that feels good to continue exploring, or maybe the eyes were closed and they're opening, just getting a sense of your visual landscape. Taking your time, beginning to connect to the space around you. If the body wants to move and stretch out, that feels good. Please feel free to really integrate the experience in a way that feels comfortable.